Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple baby blanket that's made using a 1-row repeat. The free written pattern can be found on my website at julesandjones.com, and you can find a link for that in the description box below. Here are some of the materials that you're going to need to make this pattern. For this pattern, you are going to need 2 different colors of a number 3 lightweight yarn. So in the pattern, I used Hobby Lobby's Yarn Bee Bamboo-Tiful yarn in the colors linen and iron. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you in 2 other different colors, but it's going to be the same yarn. And so just a quick note on this yarn, if you can't get a hold of it, another great substitute for this yarn is Line Brand Kobu yarn. It's basically identical in my opinion. I mean, if you look at the yarn strand and then you grab the yarn strand from the Hobby Lobby brand, it's basically the same. And both of them are made with cotton and bamboo. And also a quick note, if you do use the Kobu yarn, this one has less yardage than the Yarn Bee. So just make sure you take that into account. But this one does offer more colors. So you actually have a wide variety of colors to choose from when making this blanket. Okay, so once you've got your yarn figured out, then you're just going to need a 4.0 millimeter crochet hook, which is a size G. You're also just going to need 1 stitch marker and a pair of scissors to cut in between ends because you're going to be using 2 different colors. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our tutorial. Alright, so before we begin, I just quickly want to note that I'm going to be making a swatch of the stitch that is used in the pattern because the pattern only uses 1 stitch throughout the whole entire thing, which is the Suzette stitch. And this stitch is made using a multiple of 2. So for my swatch, I'm going to be chaining 12. And if you did want to go ahead and start the pattern, you want to chain 132. Okay, so for this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make the stitch and how to make the color changes. So you'll know everything that you need to know to make this pattern. All right, so our first step is to make a slip knot. So to make a slip knot, you want to go ahead and take the tail end of your yarn and you are going to wrap it around your finger twice. Then you want to take the back piece, push it over the front piece, and then you want to take the front piece and push it over the back piece and over your finger. Then you want to carefully pull it. And so now you're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to insert it into that loop, and you're going to pull tight one more time. All right, just like this. Okay, and so now we're going to be chaining. So I'm going to be making a swatch of 12. So I'm just going to yarn over and pull through that first loop for my first chain. Okay, so now I need to make 11 more. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so once you have your chain set up, it is time to start our first row. So for our first row, we are going to skip the first chain and we are going to work our stitches into the second chain. Okay, so we want to make a single crochet and double crochet in that second chain. So to make a single crochet, we're going to insert our hook into our chain. We're going to yarn over and pull through. You should have 2 loops on your hook. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And that's how you make a single crochet. And now we're going to make a double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that same chain, yarn over and pull through. So you should have 3 loops on your hook. And now you're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops for a double crochet. And that is how we make our first set of stitches for row 1, okay? And so now what we need to do is we need to skip the next chain and work a single crochet and double crochet in the following chain. So we're going to skip this one over here and we're going to work a single crochet and a double crochet. And that is going to be our little sequence throughout row 1, okay, until your last 2 chains. So we're going to skip the next chain and we are going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. Skip the next chain, make a single crochet and double crochet. Skip the next chain and make a single crochet and double crochet. All right, so now I've come to my last 2 chains, and so now you're going to skip the next chain and make 1 single crochet in the last chain. So we're just making a single crochet. And there we go. So now our row 1 is completed. And so now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and grab that 1 stitch marker, and I want you to go ahead and put it in that first single crochet that we made. Okay, so just go ahead and insert it in that first single crochet. All right, so once you've done that, it is time to start our row 2. So for row 2, we are going to be chaining 1. So we're going to take our crochet hook, insert it back into that loop, and chain 1. Now you're going to turn your work, and you are going to make 1 single crochet and 1 double crochet in the first stitch. So it's the single crochet from the previous row. So go ahead and work your single crochet and double crochet. Now we're going to skip the next stitch and work a single crochet and a double crochet. And that is going to be our sequence for row 2 until our last 2 stitches. So we're going to skip the next stitch and make a single crochet and double crochet. Skip the next stitch, make a single crochet and double crochet. Skip the next stitch and make a single crochet and double crochet. Okay, so now I've come to my last 2 stitches. It is right here and right here, and so that is why I recommended, or I told you to place a stitch marker into that last stitch, because if we were to look at it, it almost looks, that last stitch looks very slanted, and sometimes I find it can be very hard to see, and then you think you messed up but you really didn't. It's just that stitch is so slanted. So if you would continue on like this, you would almost be missing stitches if you made the following rows. Okay, so you want to go ahead and remove your stitch marker, skip that next stitch, and just make 1 single crochet in that last stitch, the stitch that we just took the stitch marker out of. And there you go. So now you've completed row 2. So now the pattern gets very easy after this, because all you're going to do is just continue to repeat row 2. So let's go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to show you how to make a color change. Okay, so for row 3, we just need to chain 1 because we're just repeating row 2, and we're going to turn our work. So now we're working on the front side again. Okay, and we're just going to make a single crochet and double crochet in that first stitch. Now if you want, you can always go ahead and place that stitch marker on the side here if you'd like. Okay, so here's my single crochet, and so now we're going to go ahead and make our double crochet. Now we're going to skip the next stitch and make a single crochet and double crochet. Skip our next stitch and make a single crochet and double crochet. Skip our next stitch and make a single crochet and double crochet. Now we have 4 stitches left over, so we're going to skip our next stitch and make a single crochet and double crochet. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this so far. Okay, so now we have our 2 stitches left over. So now we need to skip the next stitch and just make a single crochet in that last stitch. But this is also where I'm going to show you how to make a seamless color change. Okay, so make sure you have your second color ready so you can practice with me, or if you're already making the pattern. So we're going to skip the next stitch, and we are just going to insert our hook into that stitch like we're making a single crochet. And so we're just going to pull the yarn through, so you should have 2 loops. Now normally if you weren't making a color change, you would just yarn over and you would pull through to complete your single crochet. But this is where you want to go ahead and grab your next color. So I'm just using the white color here, and I'm just going to drape it over my hook. So the tail end is on the right side and my working yarn is on the left side. And then I'm just going to hold my yarn and I'm going to pull through those 2 loops to complete my single crochet. and then you just want to pull the green yarn a little bit tight and the white one just a little bit tight, because we can always adjust it here in a minute. And you should have something that looks like this, okay? And so now we completed row 3 and we made a color change. So I'm going to show you how row 4 then looks like. For row 4, we are going to chain 1 because we're just repeating row 2 again. We're going to turn our work and we are going to make a single crochet and double crochet again in that first stitch. So make your single crochet and your double crochet. Okay, and so now we can kind of pull it a little bit more. So I'm just going to pull my green one right here and my white one right there. Okay, we're going to skip the next stitch again and we're going to make a single crochet and double crochet. Skip our next stitch and make a single crochet and double crochet. Skip our next stitch and make a single crochet and double crochet. Skip our next stitch, make a single crochet and double crochet. Now here I am at my last stitch and we know that's a single crochet, so we're going to skip the next stitch and make a single crochet. All right, so that completes row 4. Now I'm going to flip it over so you can see the color change. So it should look like this. And see how, we just got to pull it a little bit more here. See what a nice color change that is here on the side, so it's hardly noticeable. And so you would just cut your yarn then, you would just cut the green yarn and then you would just work it in. Now I kind of recommend working it in as you go, but you could totally work in those ends in the end as well. So it's whatever you prefer. Okay, and so that is how you make the stitch for the pattern and how you make a color change. All right, everyone, so I went ahead and just made a few more rows just so you could see the 2 different color changes, and so see how seamless that looks. And so I still have to work mine in, and if you even wanted to make it more seamless, you could take the white yarn and you could even wrap it over that little green piece right there when you go to work in your ends, and then you really can't tell that you made a color change. But yeah, that is how you make the stitch. That's how you do a color change for this pattern. And so I just quickly wanted to know about this yarn, whether you use the Hobby Lobby one or the Lion Brand one, is that you just want to make sure you take your time with this yarn because this yarn is so lightly spun, you can get some splitting when you make your stitches. So I find that if you just take your time and slowly work your stitches, I seem to have no problem with this yarn splitting. So just a little small tip. But yeah, if you have any more questions about this pattern, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below and I'll make sure to answer them. And then to find all the pattern notes and directions, it is for free on my website. So the link for that is in the description box. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.